you know more about your customers the more you speak to them.
Of
So
course.
be that sales, be that support, whoever speaks to the customer at a given time, this information can be fed again into your CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, whatever else,
You
right?
can build your customer profiles there.
Of course, yes. So redefining your ICP. So who are the people mostly looking into us, right? Who are the people we mostly want to speak with, right? This is a huge bit of it.
Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Kaia, the brand ambassador of Text, and today we're going to be talking about boosting your sales with LiveChat. We have a special guest with us here today, Piotr Sarzyński, and he's our professional services team leader. Now, he's going to be sharing some proven strategies for conversion with us today. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, Kaia.
So could you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Absolutely. My name is Peter. I'm a decent dancer, horrible singer.
Good to know.
I've been in sales for about 5 years now. I lead the professional services team, or as I tend to call them, the Navy SEALs of LiveChat. So basically a bunch of really good guys trying to help out every possible customer in every possible way.
Kind of like superheroes?
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, good guys, probably more of my first thought. But yes, now that you say that, Phil.
So I do have a few, actually more than a few questions for you today.
Of course.
Let's start strong. So let's say a company whose business model is to sell software in a SaaS model comes to you, and they have a great product, and they start to gain traction in the industry. Now, what are the first sales channels you recommend developing?
So they already have some customers, some coming to them.
They have an audience,
Okay, okay, cool. Short answer would be all of them. Everything, all at once.
Okay, if they're not a large company, like why would you recommend all of them?
Potentially, I think, and that's, proven what we've witnessed in the last couple of years. The more you wait to introduce any specific channel, the more clients you can potentially lose. So even if you're a small company and you reckon you might be spread a bit too thin because you can't be in all places all at once, you actually can to a large extent because loads of them integrate with LiveChat. So you can have all of those messaging types in a single center. And wherever your customers want to reach out to you, they can, right? So from the customer point of view, it's accessibility because they want to, they may go, for WhatsApp, they may go for Facebook page, they may go for your domain, right? Any way they go, you're there for them, right? And with time, you can see which of those channels pay off the best, right? And focus on them the most.
All right, but I think everything all at once is also quite a big stretch, especially if we're talking about a small business who, let's say, doesn't have the cash to just kind of go all out as well and have the whole team for that. So if, let's say, this company knows that their customers approach them on these and these channels, right? Like these are the biggest channels that their customers go to. Would it be possible just to include that into the all, or?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it is a bit of a stretch, yes. But all that you, maybe not even all that you think could be good, but all that you have.
No, kind of.
Sorry?
No, like all that like your customers are here and here.
Yeah, all that are popular, and especially within the audiences that you're trying to target, right? So if your target is to sell something for a specific audience, let's say you're selling toys, right? Who buys toys? Well, parents, right? Where do parents would go to buy toys? Well, possibly Facebook page, right? Because that's the easiest way to go to a company and go through Messenger, right? So you wouldn't necessarily go, for example, for Telegram with that, right? Because I don't suppose many parents do use that, to find information about the toys, right? So all that makes sense, but without withholding any of those until you grow bigger, because you can always change the way that channels are organized. You can always have total control of that with LiveChat, and so it's basically a situation where you cannot lose. Yeah.
So you want to leverage all the channels on which your customers are. You want to be where your customers are.
I mean, from the perspective of a customer, it's really the cost of inaction, because you may have 100 people. What's your preferred way to contact a company when you're buying something?
Well, go to their website, start a chat with them.
Yeah, a chat, right? Some other person would prefer, as I said, Facebook or Instagram, right? And so if you have scale of 100 or 1,000 people, chances are that there is a certain percentage going for a specific channel in their habits. And if you're ignoring it, then your inaction there of not integrating those into your communications is losing you money, literally, because you lose the opportunity to speak to them and to potentially sell to them.
So you want to leverage all that you can possibly.
Of course, absolutely, as soon as you can.
All right. So from your experience, how does having live chat impact sales and conversion rates in modern companies then?
Oh, huge. Like, if you think about some companies that we helped the sales teams with, it's like the Opt-in Monster example. We have a company that's selling their services using live chat, and it's 11 times, I reckon, that they have multiplied the conversions for customers who chat.
Okay.
16 times the value of a single order.
That's a significant amount, isn't it?
Yeah. So I like to bring this example up just for the sheer value of it, right?
Yeah.
So the sheer volume of the improvement, right? And so I don't suppose that that's thanks to some miraculous formula that they have, although that might be the case to an extent. But I think the number one reason is that they adapt to what their audiences need. They are there for them when they need them. They put themselves out there even before the client thinks that they could, benefit from the contact, right? So all of this is
as soon as they meet
huge.
the brand, right?
Yeah, of course.
At any touch point.
Of course, yeah.
You've got to be ready for your audience to approach you.
So there are a couple of dimensions here. So you can advise your customers early and you can convert them quicker, right? You can show your products and talk about any topic that the customer needs. Say, you want to learn the price of a SaaS product, right? And you go to the web page, you go to the pricing page, and it's like plan A, plan B, plan C, talk to sales, right? And so they go to the competitor, and it's like, okay, I at least know what I'm doing, right? Whereas if you have, like, for example, a chat solution, you could easily, pass the key information. I'm not saying that giving up the price is the single best thing you can do first off, right? But losing the chance to speak to the customer is definitely something that's really harmful for your conversions.
And having chat kind of gives the customer the option just to start a conversation. I mean, because if you are, let's say, looking at the pricing page, if a customer is looking at the pricing page, and like you said, if there's only like a please contact us or please fill out a contact form.
Oh, yeah. We all love contact forms, right?
I'm sorry, but to be honest, I doubt that always works.
Yeah.
For some people, for business owners who, really value their time as well, everyone does, of course, they have a moment during the day and they do want to get some immediate information as soon as possible to have a rough picture of how it will look, right?
Of course.
And they can do that instantly with chat.
Of course, absolutely. And it all really comes down to the scale, because if a company has been using a contact form for 10 years and they've grown and they have sales and they have success, that's great, that's excellent. But the question that they might start asking themselves at one point is, what if? Yeah. What if we had a different solution, right? And that's the question of how much of your potential you want to leverage, because you have X traffic and then you have Y conversions, right? And how many of your customers have you actually engaged with?
Yeah.
It's hard now to engage with customers. So when you have an extra chance to do it, to start building the relation, and you don't, you're not leveraging the full potential.
Especially not like you're talking about, like, for example, enterprises, like big companies, who have made their name and their brand name known in the world or in the industry, right?
Of course.
And all right, but when we talk about small businesses, it's even more important to them to build their brand, to be able to build that relationship with their audience first.
Of course. The giants will live on, right? Because they have sustainable base. But if you're a startup, bootstrapped, and you're just getting started, then you need every single bit of the market, right? And giving up any of it is just a mistake.
Contact form might not really do then.
Yeah, in a case like this, probably not, yeah.
So you actually mentioned a bit of the sales process. So I'd like to move on to that. And how can you embed live chat in your sales process? And what are the real fully put out benefits of that?
Well, if you think about the classic understanding that we have of what a sales process is, so customer reaches out to your or you contact them somehow and you close the deal, right? So that's the journey of the customer who buys something. That's fair to like just for this example, you can integrate with your CRM. So the leads get directly to your Salesforce, for example. They're triggered to populate for your AEs, whoever else. You can integrate with your communicators, so Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever else. You can integrate with your e-commerce platform, Shopify, WooCommerce, Wix, right? All of those. Do the analytics of what's going on with LiveChat with the analytics tools. All of this can be embedded into your process. But if you think about this, only this as your sales process, I think you're also missing out.
All right, how?
Yeah, because the sales process, at least in my opinion, doesn't start with a customer reaching out to you. It starts really much earlier, when they hear about you from a friend, when they see your ad, when they notice you on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
So when they begin to notice you, that's where your sales process starts.
That's like the first touch point that they're reaching.
Exactly. Not like physically, of course, but there is a chance that the thought will sit with them and will grow into something bigger. They can come to your website just to check you out. And this is the first moment where you have your only chance to do the great impression, right? They might be impressed with everything, but if they do want to speak to you and you're not there, right? So swifter communication in terms of, embedding LiveChat into sales process, this is a really huge thing. Another thing is that you know more about your customers the more you speak to them.
Of course.
Be that sales, be that support, whoever speaks to the customer at a given time, this information can be fed again into your CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, whatever else, right?
You can build your customer profiles there.
Of course, yes. So redefining your ICP. So who are the people mostly looking into us, right? Who are the people we mostly want to speak with, right? This is a huge bit of it.
You mentioned a lot of integrations.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really glad you did.
Yeah.
So you said that companies kind of operate with different tech stacks, right? Each business has their preferences, of course. And as we know, like you've mentioned, LiveChat offers a lot of integrations.
Of course.
However, there's always the off chance that a tool that the business is using isn't available.
Of course.
So what can be done then?
Ooh, the short answer would be we got you, basically.
We got you. We got you how?
Yeah, exactly. My team has been called into existence because of that precise reason. So
All right.
To offer everything in SaaS that is not SaaS. So if you need your agents trained, if you need your team deployed, if you need your custom integration built, all of this is what we do. But back to your original question, which is about the integrations. So we have 200 out of the box, just ready-made available. Some paid, some free. You can check it out in the marketplace. We have Zapier and Make.com. So that naturally expands the list of what you can do to a huge load of integrations. And then we have the bespoke solution, something I briefly mentioned. So if you need a custom integration that would do exactly what you want it to do, collect the data, scrape the data, feed the data, use the AI to do whatever, we have partners who are happy to work with you, work through the API and develop things that you need exactly. Of course, you can do it yourself also with our open API. But if you need help with that, we are there and we got you.
So a company could come to LiveChat, to the professional services team, and ask you to build everything from A to Z.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Okay. So that's cool to know. If you don't mind, I'll leave your LinkedIn handle in the description.
Go right ahead. Yeah.
So feel free to contact Peter. He's the professional services team leader, to ask him any questions.
Absolutely.
All right. So LiveChat is known to enable companies with real-time engagement to assist customers in their buying decisions, right? Now, what I'd like to ask you is if you could elaborate on the assistance LiveChat provides customers with in their purchasing process.
Yeah, I think it's like we are 15 minutes in, right? And we've mentioned purchasing process. We've been talking a lot about sales, but let's focus on the person of interest here. That's cool. That's cool. Yes, that's probably something we should all as salespeople pay a bit more attention to. And I guilty like we are talking a lot about sales, and looking at the purchasing side is also very enlightening. So everything pretty much we've talked about so far, right? So if you're more available, the customers will talk to you more, ergo you will be able to guide or advise them whatever else they need to make the best purchasing decision, because the best purchasing decision may not always be to buy, right? You may get a customer who doesn't really see the value in the product, right? And they will churn, but your reps will spend time working with them, right? So identifying who really is the right, or like which product is the right fit for which customer is a part of what we do there. And also we will have different types of customers. So different types of visitors. So some of them may be just, a bit shy, they're just looking type. And
Just browsing here.
exactly, yeah. Like you go to the shopping mall and an assistant appears out of nowhere and asks how they can help. You might be shy to shrug them off in that moment, but in the screen you're just a widget to them, right? So you just, and that's it, right? They're gone, right? And so you might want to apply a different tactic to that. Be a bit more patient. Wait until they stare on a page for 30 seconds before approaching, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like this. So in this take, you would be more in the advising side for those kind of customers. Some customers come in like a store, right? You're ready. You've looked at the page for 10 times. You want this product. You just go in and look for the place where to click to spend your money. And so in that case, you can guide them, right? So each purchasing process, I think it differs type to type, person to person.
Of course.
Yeah. But you can do a lot to improve experience for both types or all other types that I haven't mentioned.
Okay. So I think we're going into upselling and cross-selling, especially with the products that we're talking about, and the sales assistants could make some recommendations, right? So what would you say are the best ways to upsell and cross-sell using LiveChat?
Buying is rarely done at one go. So it's not like you buy the product, you never want to speak to the company again.
Yeah.
Right? If you buy, you're unhappy, probably that's the case, right? But let's assume that you are happy with what you get, you might buy again, right? Or you might buy something different. So you may have customers who are returning. You may have customers who have been looking at your product but haven't purchased. And for those, you can apply different engagement rules so that they can see different type of messaging on the page, all automated, so that your reps don't have to worry about this. And so every customer will receive a more personalized experience, right?
So in LiveChat, it's under targeted messages, right?
Precisely.
Greetings and announcements.
Exactly. And so, well, looking at Sephora, for example, 25% boost in the average order value, right? I don't know exactly, but my bet would be that they didn't get that by talking customers into buying bigger flask of perfume, right?
Most likely not.
Yeah. So different companies have different sets of product categories, right? And so when you speak to a person who you would like to be an expert, right, then they can advise you to go in a specific way, right? And so thereby the cross-selling and upselling occurs. And that's a pretty physical example of Sephora, right? But if you think about SaaS solutions, right, it happens daily with LiveChat. With somebody coming in to buy LiveChat gets a chatbot and help desk because they just learn how this works, right? Works for tons of our clients on a daily basis.
So there's a lot you can do with LiveChat.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to ask a question that I'm assuming every business owner is probably thinking at this point. How much of the customer service reps or sales assistants' time is needed on the sales activities? And does it mean that they have to hire more customer service reps?
Well, that's a very good question. That's a pretty common misconception. So to answer very bluntly there, it's zero. Like you have to add 0 agents to start selling with LiveChat.
All right.
Yeah. So if you have your support team on LiveChat, right, and you have your sales team doing all other sales activities that they do, and you have customers coming in to talk to your support, integrate with Salesforce, integrate with HubSpot, take the customer data, feed it in there, create leads for your salespeople in minutes. And so it costs you 0. Like your support team is doing what they've been doing anyways. Your sales team gets free leads free hot leads, let's add, right? So customers come to you and want to speak to you, right? And you can speak to them quite quickly, which is, excellent experience. So that's that. Another preconception there is that your sales agents would have to spend their whole day on chat, right? That's what one could assume, but it's not necessarily the case. So if you think about all the chats you have and how many of them pertain to sales, you can route them automatically to the right department through pre-chat forms. You can route them through the which place on the web page they come from. So if they come from pricing, they could, for example, go to sales directly.
Yeah.
But your sales team can have live chat working in the background on the app and be notified whenever a new chat comes in. So they can go about their day normally and accept chats for specific set of hours, for example, when they do light admin work, and they can do this simultaneously. So in terms of adding headcount, of course you can make a dedicated sales team. Fine, that works. But you don't have to. And especially if you want to start small and see what you're working with. Because this is also something that we face quite often is that, well, I don't have money to hire another 10 people.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's hire 0 and let's see how it works. And if you see that there is market for it, then just go for it.
You mentioned routing and the pre-chat survey, right? So just for the audience to know, you can definitely go and set that up in the LiveChat agent app. You can customize it. And what Peter meant by the routing there is simply a drop-down menu for the customer to be able to choose the department they want to be directed to.
Precisely.
So that saves, let's say, your customer support time if that customer wants to talk to sales only, right? So you don't have to go through customer support and then get to sales later on.
Yeah. That's frustrating, right? If you are just handed off one way or another. I mean, it can be like there is actually a use case for that, right? So you might come with a technical question that you need support for, and then something else may come up, right? In which case, rerouting is actually ideal experience. But for all other cases, just as you said.
And there's actually one thing we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I'd like us to get into metrics.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
So what metrics, apart from the obvious, right? What metrics does LiveChat provide to help a business track and project revenue more effectively?
So for that, we have something that's called the sales tracker, which basically tracks, it integrates with your e-commerce platform, and it tracks directly the worth of your chats, if I can put it in these words. So it shows you how many chats ended with how many sales and what the value of sales is. So pretty solid metric there. You can break it down by agent to see the performance of each of the agents. But the dollar value is not always the measure of sales done via live chat, because you may have a SaaS product, right? That costs, I don't know, $50,000 a year. And so I doubt somebody would sell it over a 15-minute chat, although, if they do, then of course I want them to work for me. But the success there can be, for example, turning a visitor into a trial. And this is what you can do with goals. So goals are specific outcomes of chats that you can assign to for LiveChat to track. So you can see how many chats actually end up with a visitor being converted into a trial. So those things also able to break down. You're able to break it down by agent to see how each of the agents perform.
So to summarize, it's not only for e-commerce.
Yeah.
Like Peter gave a great example for how it works for SaaS companies as well. And later on, of course, in reports, you will also see how the sales tracker is performing. You can see, let's say, the agent's performance as well on how many sales or like conversions they've made, right?
Of course.
And that also gives you a lot of the bigger picture of, how your team is, how your team's performance basically looks.
Of course.
And what are the strong sides and what are the areas of improvement as well.
Yeah, but that's not the whole story, because, well, first you asked about the revenue, right? And these are, or the revenue or success, right? So these two areas. But you can also track how your team does on a more granular level. So how many chats they've had, how quick is their response time, what's their CSAT, right? Are customers generally happy about them or not? And then you have also the archives, which I believe is an absolute gold mine.
The treasure chest of it all.
It is, yes, really, because every chat that goes extremely well will be saved for you to review, for you to pick the best bits from, for you to organize training for your newcomers, right? All of this is there. Ditto if you want to use it for the chats that didn't go so well or could be improved, right? You can analyze those, you can work on them with your team, and you can make them better next time. So you can kind of arrange it into a process that trains your agents to be the absolute best in the game.
Yeah, and especially in the archives, you have the whole chat transcript, right? Sometimes one word added could literally change a customer's feel to your company.
Of course. You have the tone of voice. If you chat, some people might think that it's rude to give short answers, right? Some people in some cultures want to talk a bit more, right? If you have a British agent talking to a German client, you might not always see that they find the best common ground naturally, right? And you can learn about that with LiveChat, and you can easily apply that to your training mechanisms and enablement. It is goldmine, really. Yeah.
You can also see which agent feels the most comfortable with which product you're selling, right?
Of course.
And let the other agents who perhaps are not performing best with that product, learn from the transcript.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course. Absolutely.
All right. So one last question. Could you share a case study of a business that witnessed sales growth with LiveChat? Like a case study that really stayed with you?
Well, I've mentioned Opt-in Monster because of the scale that that they've achieved, which is really impressive. There is Sephora that I've mentioned as well. Also a great boost in the order value. From the other industries, because you don't always think about all of the industries that you can use it for, right? So sometimes it can be helpful for the most inconspicuous places. So, for example, a company called Luxury Estates International sells real estate with LiveChat, and the conversion rate is 30% better. Or Pure VPN, a SaaS company providing VPN services, 20% boost in conversion, right? So tons of other clients who we don't really or haven't done the case study with or haven't done it yet, leverage this daily. So if there is a message from today's meeting, is that come try it out, because it really works. It's really worth it.
You can also take a look at our customer success stories on our website.
Of course.
There's a lot to look at.
Yeah.
So thank you, Peter, for sharing your expertise with us today. It was great to have you, as always.
Likewise. Great to be here.
If you do have any questions for Peter regarding boosting sales with LiveChat, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Reach out to him directly about professional services. And if you have any questions about LiveChat in general, definitely go to livechat.com and feel free to start a chat with us. So thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Kaia.
And thank you for watching.